Good morning. I just want to start off how I start off every morning by telling you how much I miss you. And today we start.
Welcome to the Stars for Stars Legend, wait for it, Dairy Learner Show. Brought to you by the amazing Mrs. Smith.
Now, wasn't that the cutest? I'd like to thank my husband for making that intro for me because I absolutely love it. And since you all helped me come up with the name, it makes it even better. Now, one thing before we get started, first thing I want to say is that I've been looking and a lot of you, I'm still missing work like a test last Friday, Tuesday's work, Wednesday's work. I want to make sure and I want everybody to understand that even we're having to do this remote learning, I want you to do your best and be your best. So that's why I'm here. But I need you to actually make sure you're watching the videos, please, because how else can I show off that amazing intro if you're not watching? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and jump right in because this is reviewed. This is everything about time that we've been talking about. So you're going to have to get everything that we've learned, how to read an analog clock, how to find our beginning time when we're given elapsed and stop time, how to find the elapsed time when we're given the beginning time and the stopping or end time, and then how to find the stopping time when you're given the beginning time and the elapsed time. You should make sure that you have your math journal. And as I'm going through these, you should be writing them in your notes as well. Remember, that's for any notes that you take. They should all be in your journal, just like I've been keeping my notes in my journal. So make sure you're solving these. Also, when you do the independent classwork, those Google Forms, that's to show me what you understand about the material, what you don't understand. So I need you to make sure that you're actually showing your work and doing your best on it. Because there's some of you that you're not doing your work like you should be writing it out. Just like I do, because these are really hard, boys and girls. This is a really hard concept. So I want you to be careful when you do it. So what I'm going to do is, just like we did yesterday, I'm going to pull up both of my screens because I want to make sure that you can see what I'm pulling out of the problem so that I can better organize my thoughts. Because some of you, you know how to do it. It's just that starting out, trying to get what are we actually looking for. So let's move this one over just a little bit more. Now, this says number 4, but we know this is number 1. It's the very first problem. So you'll see that that's the very first thing I have on mine. I have the title because this is our mixed time practice problems. And then I label the numbers. So we're starting with number 1. And even though I see a number line, because it's asking what letter on the number line represents the time Vanessa arrived at the library, I can still use that best to organize my thoughts. Because maybe number lines I don't understand as much. But if we look at it, if this is 11 and this is 11:30, what increments are they counting in? How are they counting? Are they counting by twos? So that would be 11, 11:02, 11:04, 11:06, 11:08, 11:10, 11:12. Well, that can't be right because it says 11:30, right? Maybe they're counting by tens. So 11, 11:10, 11:20, 11:30. Well, that can't be right either because this one is 11:30. So let's try by fives. 11, 11:05, 11:10, 11:15, 11:20, 11:25, 11:30. So they match up. So that means that each of these lines, these are in 5-minute increments, just like on our clock, how they're in 5 minutes. So it says, if I read the problem, Vanessa spent 15 minutes in the library. She left the library at 11:30. So we want to know what time she arrived at the library. If she stayed at the library for 15 minutes, remember how long you do something or the time that passes in between the start and the end is that elapsed time, and we write it in hours and minutes. So if my elapsed time is 15 minutes, I know that my stopping time, if she left the library at 11:30, we're trying to figure out what time she got there. So that 11:30 is my great stopping time. So I want to put 11:30. So when I'm looking for my beginning time, what this actually means is we're looking for what is 15 minutes before 11:30. So we're going to go counterclockwise. When we go counterclockwise, what are we doing with that elapsed time? Are we actually adding it or subtracting it? Well, think about it. If I add it, I'd be going forward on a clock. That would make it 15 minutes after 11:30 would be 11:45. Can she get to the library at 11:45, stay there 15 minutes, and then leave at 11:30? No. So we have to go backwards. So we're actually starting with 11:30 because that was my stop time. And I want to go back 10 minutes because I don't have any hours to go back. 10 minutes before 11:30, my hours don't change. So 10 minutes before 30, well, what's 30 minus 10? 20. So 10 minutes before 11:30 is 11:20. Well, my elapsed time should add up to 15 minutes. So even though we put a subtraction sign, that means that we're actually subtracting it from this. But my elapsed time, I would need to add together because my elapsed time is 15 minutes. That means 15 minutes passed. Here, 10 minutes passed, and then I have to add another 5 to make it 15. So if I'm at 11:20, 5 minutes before 11:20, what's 5 before 20? Does my hours change? No. Great job. So it's 11, and 5 before 20 is 15. So that means that she actually got to the library at 11:15. Because that means 11:15, go forward 5 minutes. If she was there for 5 minutes, it would be 11:20. If it's 11:20 and she stayed 10 minutes, it'd be 11:30. So that's a way to check our work. So my answer is 11:15. Now, I figured it out using my best chart. Now I have to figure out where it goes on the number line. Remember, these are 5-minute increments. So let's look at it. We want to count. Here's 11, 11:05, 11:10, 11:15. So my answer for number 1 is A. M represents the time 11:15. Great job understanding it. Sorry, boys and girls. It went the wrong way. All right, so now we're on number 2. So want to write a number 2 so we can make sure we have another number line. And we can see that each of these lines, it's different than before, right? They're not counting by 5 minutes. This isn't 6:05. They're counting, great, it's by half hours. And how many minutes is a half hour? 30 minutes. So it's 6, 6:30, 7, 7:30. Willie went for a run at 6:30 a.m. Whew, it's getting up real early. He ran for 1 hour and 45 minutes. What time did Willie stop running? Now, this number line, I can look at it, and if we're starting, because he went for a run, and if he's going for a run, he's starting the run at 6:30. Well, 1 hour, if I go forward from 6:30, 1 hour would be 7:30. 30 minutes would be 8 o'clock, but then I don't need another 30 minutes, so it can't be 8:30. So what should go right here in between? That's what we're going to figure out, but we're going to use a T-chart. So I'm still going to organize my thoughts the same way, boys and girls. Still want to use that best because this tells me my beginning time, elapsed time, and stop time. All this is a way to organize the word problem so you know exactly what you're given so that you can find exactly what you're looking for. He went for a run at 6:30. So we said that 6:30 must be our beginning time because he left then. And he actually ran, remember, elapsed time is written as hours and minutes. So he ran for 1 hour, 45 minutes. And I want to find out what time did he stop running. So again, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make my best chart. But this time, I'm given my beginning time and my elapsed time. So I'm actually going to start here because we're going forward on the clock. So we're adding the time. See how, if you remember on this one, we started over here because we were subtracting our time. Now we're going to be adding that time because we're going forward. I want to know, this is asking me, what is 1 hour and 40 minutes or 45 minutes after 6:30? So remember, we start with our hours, and there was one time when we learned about a double T-chart. Well, not the double T-chart, the two separate T-charts where you would separate hours and minutes. You can do that if it's easier. I always like to do it here so that way I don't get confused. So I want to add 1 hour because we're going forward 1 hour. My minutes don't change, but when I add 1 hour, what's the next hour after 6? Great job, 7 o'clock. And remember, we said our minutes don't change. Now, it's 7:30 because he's already been running for 1 hour. Can I add another hour? No, because I only have 45 minutes, right? So now I'm done with my hours. If I add 30 minutes, because I can tell that this is a half hour. So if I add another half hour, what time is it then? It's 7:30, 30 minutes after 7. Well, add 30 more minutes, what would it be? 8 o'clock. Great job. And remember, we're still in AM right now because we haven't went to the afternoon yet. So if I'm at 8, Remember, my lapse time, when I add them all up, should equal 1 hour and 45 minutes. And so far, I have 1 hour and 30 minutes. How many more minutes should I add to get to my lapse time? Great job. 15 minutes. And if it's 8 o'clock, what is 15 minutes past 8? What is 15 minutes after 8 o'clock? Great job. 8:15. So that is our stopping time. So when Willie started running at 6:30, he ran for 1 hour and 45 minutes. And then it was 8:15 when he stopped running. So right there, I know my answer is C. It's not even asking for a letter up on the number line. That number line can be distracting, especially when they break it up, and 8:15 would actually go about right here. But they use that to trick you because it's not on there yet. Well, it's not on the number line. So our answer would be C. And I'm writing them out here just because I forgot to skip a line in. So that way we can easily see. All right, number 3. I'm going to start off same way with my best chart. Eric leaves school at the time shown. He arrives home 25 minutes later. At what time does Eric get home? Well, we should see right away, what am I given? I'm given a time that he leaves school. Now, when he's leaving school, and then he has to say walk home, and it takes him 25 minutes to walk home. They're asking me what time he'll get home. So even though it says he's leaving school at the time shown, that's actually my beginning time, because from the time that he leaves school, he begins walking home, and then he ends at home, and that's what time I want to know. How long does it take him? 25 minutes to walk home. Now, let's look at the clock, because that's what time he left school. What do we know? There's 2 hands here. We have the shorthand is our, great job, our hand. And is that hand, is it in the 3's room? Is it in the 2's room, the 3's room, or the 4's room? If we look at it, that our hand is still in the 3's room. So I know that it's 3 something, 3 o'clock, Now I need to look at my minutes. We know that this starts with our 0, right? And then that would be 1. We don't like to count like that because we know that these are checkpoints. So from here to here is 5, 10, 15. So it's what time? Great job. 3:15. So I want to know when he leaves school and he has to walk home, takes him 25 minutes. What time is he going to get home? So again, I love my double T chart because it allows me to organize all my thoughts really nicely. So we know that we're starting over here because we're going forward, just like a clock does, clockwise. Here, we were going backwards, counterclockwise. That's why we subtracted our time. So here I'm going forward. I want to add it. Do I need to add any hours to this? No. But I can start by adding, let's say, 10 minutes. If it's 3:15, what's 10 minutes after that? Very good. 15 plus 10 would be 25. So it'd be 3:25. So if it's 3:25 and I go forward another 10 minutes, what time is it then? 25 plus 10, because remember we're adding minutes. So it would be 3 35. Now, 10 plus 10 is 20, and I need these to add to 25 minutes. So, how many more minutes should I add onto this? Great job. 5 minutes. And then what is 5 minutes after 3:35? Great job. 3:40. So he got home at 3:40. Now, if you look, I didn't even look at my answer choices before. I solved it on my paper first so that I could see that my stop time was 3:40. Now I can go look at the answer choices, and 3:40 is C. You're doing a great job. I know this is a lot of information, but if you go by the same, follow the same rules, you take it step by step, organize your thoughts. Okay, let's look at number 4. Number 4. Amy wants to go to the 7 o'clock movie. It is now the time shown on the clock below. How long does Amy have before the movie begins? Oh, so she wants to go to the 7 o'clock movie, and it's the time shown. How long does she have before the movie begins? So, what do you think if she wants to go to the movie at 7 o'clock? Would the time on the clock, if it's saying that the time is now, the time shown on the clock, the time on the clock isn't going to be after 7, is it? No. So, what do you think is going to be our beginning time? Is it going to be 7 or the time on the clock? Great job. It's going to be the time on the clock is our beginning time. And we know, and if we look, we can see our answers. We're looking for elapsed time. Our stopping time is 7 because that's what time the movie starts. And what time is it now? Let's look. When we look at our shorter hand, what room is it in? The 4s, 5s, or 6 room? Great job. It's in the 5s room. So I know that it's 5 o'clock something, right? Now we need to figure out our minutes. If we use our checkpoints, that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but it's not to the 15 yet. So it's 10, and I can count 11, 12, 13. So the time is 5:13. Ooh. Now, I want to make my best chart. Just like we've been doing. Remember, our beginning time goes right here. Now, the difference is that we don't know our elapsed time yet, but I know that my stopping time is 7 o'clock. So that's why I'm putting it down here, because you see how these go? So I want to leave room because my stopping time, this is what I'm given in the problem. These are the 2 parts I'm given in the problem. So if I were to add an hour, what time would it be? Could I add an hour without going over 7 o'clock? Yes, because 1 hour after 5:13 would be, great job, 6:13, because the next hour after 5 is 6. Great job. 1 hour. Now, can I add another hour? Because if I added another hour, it would be 7:13. Can I? No, that's past my time. I don't like this 13. So, because it's not very pretty. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it's 6:13, because I know that I want to make it pretty. So I want to add 2 minutes because if I add 2 to 13, it's now going to be 6:15. Isn't 6:15 a lot prettier than it's a lot easier to count by, right? Too. So let's go ahead and add 20 minutes. Could we add 20 minutes? Let's look and see. Well, if it's 6:15 and we add 20 minutes, 20 plus 15 is, great job, be 6:35. Okay. And if I add 5 minutes, what time is it? 6:40. Do you have to add them up the same way I do? No. I only do this to make it easier and hopefully you understand. But see how here we added, we went by 10 minutes and fives. Here we added 30 minutes. It's all in what is comfortable for you. I'm trying to show you a variety of ways to make it easier on you. So if it's 6:40, well, I know that if 7 o'clock, because 7 o'clock is the next hour, there's 60 minutes in an hour. So to get to the next hour, how many minutes would I need to add? To get to that 7 o'clock, if I'm at 6:40, how many minutes would I need to add? Great job. 20 minutes. If it's 6:40 and I add 20 minutes, it's 7 o'clock, right? Now, to find the elapsed time, remember, we need to add all these up. So I only have 1 hour right here. So I know that it's 1 hour. And then 20 plus 20 is 40, 45, 46, 47. So it was 1 hour and 47 minutes until the movie begins. 1 hour and 47 minutes. Now, just like before, since I've already solved it, if I go back and look at my answer choices, well, it's not A, B, C. My answer that matches 1 hour and 47 minutes is D. Doing great, boys and girls. I'm so proud of you. Okay, I want you to take a minute and I want you to solve this one. I should be seeing everybody organizing. Organize your thoughts. Use a double T chart. Use your strategies. Strategies. Gonna hear an echo. Strategies. Right? If you haven't had enough time to solve this in your journal, you can go ahead and pause the video for a minute. For those that may have, we're going to go ahead and continue. But this is a video, so it's not like I could give you too long. So if you need to pause it, please take the time. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, okay? All right, so Patrick was at the mall for 2 hours and 15 minutes. He left the mall at 11:30 a.m. What time did Patrick arrive at the mall? Well, he was there for 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's my elapsed time. That's how much time passed between the time he got to the mall and the time he left. I don't know what time he left. That's what I need to figure out. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what time he got to the mall. He left the mall at 11:30. So this right here, if I'm given my stopping time and elapsed time, or my end time and my elapsed time, I'm finding my beginning time. So are we going to be going forward clockwise like adding the time going forward. So it'd be 11:30. The time would be after 11:30. Or since it's trying to find the beginning time, we're trying to look at the stopping point and go forward. So we're going to go and actually subtract the time and go counterclockwise. Because we're trying to find out what 2 hours and 15 minutes before 11:30 is. So that's where we're going to start over here and we're going to subtract that time. Well, I know that I can go ahead and subtract 2 hours. There's 1 hour. What's 1 hour before 11:30? What's that hour before 11? Great job. 10:30. And I can go back 1 more hour, right? What is 1 hour before 10:30? What's the hour before 10? Great. 9. And remember, my minutes haven't changed yet until now. Because I need to subtract and go back. If it's 9:30 and I go back 15 minutes, what's 30 minus 15? The 9, it's still in the 9 o'clock hour, still in that 9's room. 30 minus 15 is 15. That'd be 2 hours and 15 minutes because we want to make sure that this matches this. So that means 2 hours and 15 minutes before 11:30 is 9:15. Remember, we're in AM because this said AM. Now I can look at my time and which answer choice matches? Very good. B. Okay. Number 6. Okay. Same way. Organize it. Brian played video games for 45 minutes. Well, I know that that 45 minutes would be my elapsed time. He finished playing at 2:25. What time did he start? And this says PM. So we're going to make our double T-chart only while we're learning. And that's because it helps us organize some of the ideas like this because we're just learning, remember? So 2:25. So I'm actually looking for what is 45 minutes before 2:25. If I go back 25 minutes, 25 minutes before 2:25 is what? Great. 2 o'clock. Because if I were to start at 2 o'clock and go forward 25 minutes, it'd be 2:25, right? That's a way to check your work. Well, I need to go 20 more minutes. What is 20 minutes before 2 o'clock? If you have your clock, you can use it because remember, your clock is always a very useful tool in helping you. If it's 2 o'clock, we want to go back 20 minutes before that. That goes back 5 minutes. So we'll see our hand is out of the 2's room. And where's our hand? Our hand. It's actually still in the 1's room. So now the hour is 1 o'clock something. And we went back 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So 20 minutes before 2 is, what time is it? What room is it in? It's in the 1's room. And our minute hand is pointing here 40 minutes. So the time is 1:40. So 20 minutes before 2 o'clock is 1:40. Let's make sure that our elapsed time, 25 plus 20 would be 45 minutes. So my elapsed time match, I stopped at 2:25. So that means he began at 1:40 p.m. And that answer choice is C. I'm so proud of you. Keep it up. Now, for the next two, I want you to try these on your own. So there's only two more you need to do on your own, and then you have your independent classwork for today. And that is on Google Classroom. I'm only showing you this one because I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer on the video. So if you watch my video, then you'll at least know that you did your answer correctly. So it says, what is the flight number? These are the flight numbers of the airplane that leaves 20 minutes before 11 o'clock. Well, think about it. What is 20 minutes before 11 o'clock? Is it going to be in the 11 o'clock hour still? No. What's the hour before 11? 10. Great job. So 20 minutes before 11 would be 10:40. The flight number that matches that time would be 126. So the answer would be C. Last one. She got to the library. If she left at 5, 2 hours and 30 minutes before 5, well, 2 hours before 5 would be what? 3, and then 30 minutes before 3 o'clock. So are we still in the 3 o'clock hour? No, because it's 30 minutes before 3. It hasn't even hit 3 yet. So the time would be 2:30. Your answer, what time did Jenna get to the library? 2:30. B. All right. So for your classwork, make sure that you have completed all the independent classwork and last Friday's test on SchoolNet. I'm still missing a lot of them. Also, going through our solar system, we stopped at our first planet after the sun. We stopped at, what's the first planet past the sun? Mercury. You start your journey or you continue your journey past Mercury and on to Venus today. Venus, which is the second planet from the sun. That's why it's our second stop after we leave the sun. All right, so you have this, and there's also remember, there's a sun independent or worksheet that you need to complete on a Google Slides and then turn it in. There's also an inner and outer planets with Mercury and a Venus. Please make sure you are getting all those done, boys and girls. I miss you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And I'll see you on the Google chat. Remember, come with questions if you have any. Please make sure you're watching my videos so that I know if you're not understanding the material or if you're good to go. Bye, boys and girls.